Hey everyone, my name's Walter and I'm back here with more stories I found on Reddit. Today we're going to be covering stories about relationships. They can either be romantic or not. They come from places like Reddit relationships and Am I the Asshole, which is especially prevalent here. I don't like long intros, so let's just get into this with relationship problems from Reddit. I am on a completely different setup today, including new software, so we'll see how it goes. Let me know about any problems with my quality. This first story was deleted, as they tend to be on Reddit, but it was from Reddit relationship advice. My husband called my sister fake in front of her boyfriend. It potentially ruined my relationship with her for good. Context: my husband and my sister don't get along too well. She's 25 by the way, and he's 33. She's pro makeup and loves beauty stuff. She changes her looks constantly, from hair color to her eye color, and she looks great all the time. People always compliment her beauty. But he'd always comment on how unnatural her beauty is, and says she wears too much makeup and wears clothes that aren't her age, which is none of his business, and I've already told him that. He says it's okay, his comments are harmless, and are intended to benefit her. But she rightfully gets offended by his harsh words. He claims to be the brutally honest type, but he comes off as incredibly rude to others, so I think that he's a bit of a jerk and is trying to justify it. Yeah, this brutally honest thing is kind of like a trope. Some people think they can say whatever they want and justify it as being honest. But what kind of behavior is a man telling a woman, a younger one even, that she's doing her makeup wrong? I'd feel like a dumbass. My sister invited us to dinner at my parents' house to meet her boyfriend for the first time. My husband looked puzzled when I told him and said, "Oh, so she already has a new boyfriend?" She and her ex broke up less than a year ago. Again, I told him it's none of his business and he needed to check himself and be polite. He said he could do that no problem. We arrived for dinner, met her boyfriend, and chatted till dinner was ready. My husband was staying with the dogs the entire time and looked upset. I asked if he was okay, and he said that my sister was intentionally trying to compare him to her new boyfriend, since her boyfriend comes from a prosperous family and has a good job, so he felt humiliated. I told him no. She was just trying to introduce them to each other, but he clearly misunderstood. My husband can be oversensitive often. He comes from a struggling family and he considers them low class. We sat down for dinner and my husband started intentionally pestering my sister by making comments about her appearance. He asked her questions like, "What kind of color lenses are you wearing tonight?" Then turned to her boyfriend and asked, "You realize that isn't her real eye color, right? And is that the black wig you were wearing weeks ago? I remember it was a different color." Then again turned to her boyfriend and asked, "You realize that's not her real hair, right?" My sister and my parents were very upset. I told him to stop it. But he acted dumb and said that it's okay. My sister has no problem being fake and just wanted to make sure her new boyfriend knows. This is so goddamn aggressive. Like, am I really supposed to believe that this guy acts relatively normal at any time after hearing this story? My sister excused herself to the bathroom while my husband shouted asking her to not take it personal. He's just being honest. It's the way he is. I covered my mouth in shame and my mom asked me if I wanted a few minutes outside with my husband. I immediately realized this was a sign to tell us to leave. I got my stuff and I couldn't even get the chance to talk to my sister. My mom pressured me to leave, and I was absolutely raging inside but kept my composure. I finally let it all out in the car and yelled at him for the series of nasty, cruel comments he made on my sister in front of her boyfriend and how embarrassed he made me feel and how hurt he made my sister feel. He argued that she started it when she tried to flex on him with her rich boyfriend. I called him childish. The guy is 23 for God's sake. I told him he just severely damaged my relationship with my sister, and his reply was that if she loves me, she won't punish me for something he said and takes accountability for. We got home and we still argued. He thinks he was getting back at her for something she started, and that he wasn't lying at the end of the day. I had enough of fighting and went to stay with my friend. I've already got scolded by my parents and I feel awful. My husband and I are on very bad terms at the moment, and I haven't spoken to my husband since, but my main concern is my sister. She hasn't been answering any calls from me, and I'm trying to sincerely apologize to her, but I don't know how. God, the thing is, if this is real, I'm not even sure if I have any advice. It would probably be better if you didn't get married to this guy in the first place. I can't imagine feeling so inadequate compared to a 23-year-old, even if he's from a rich family. When someone tells you, "I'm just a brutally honest guy," what they are actually saying is, "I'm a callous bore with no filter, and it's beneath me to respect the existence of other people's feelings." I was married to one of those for way too long. I eventually got heartily sick of apologizing for him. Does this man have any redeeming characteristics at all? They'd have to be remarkable for me to stay married to him, that's for sure. I know it's not really about him, but just imagine how awkward this is for the boyfriend who's just trying to meet her family. Reddit is pretty convinced that he wants the sister. This next one is also infuriating. Am I the asshole for telling my younger sister I'm not her parent and don't owe her anything? I, 23 female, have 2 younger siblings. My sister is 16 and my brother is 14. When my parents had my sister, they approached being a sibling as a job, and they stuck with that story for the rest of my childhood. They said it was my job to teach them things, to look out for them, look after them when needed. Then it was help with homework, walk home from school, and walk to friends' houses when they wanted to go. Then it was my job to plan and take them out for sibling time. It would be my job to always have space and time for them, whenever they needed it. That as the big sister, I owed them that. Yeah, this is always the best parenting style. It doesn't mess your kids up at all. My mom was the first daughter out of 12 kids, I think. It sounds miserable having to do all that as a child. And my siblings were more than happy with that. When I lived at home, they always demanded my time or attention. I had to help with homework every day, and most of it is regular sibling stuff, but they came to expect me to drop everything for them the way a parent might. Like if they were struggling and I was in the middle of my homework, I had to stop doing mine to help with theirs. Or if I had plans and they wanted to go someplace, I had to cancel my plans. It's my parents' fault. But more than once I tried talking to them about how I deserved to have my life and do my own thing too. And then I moved out, and I would get calls all the time from my family about it. Over time, my brother stopped, and our relationship got a bit easier, but my sister never changed. She would call and tell me she wanted to stay the weekend with me, or she wanted me to take her to a concert, or that mom and dad told her I was supposed to take her shopping, or that she saw something in the store and I had to buy it for her. I told her twice in the last 2 years that I was not going to drop everything and do what she wanted, and she needed to get better at asking for this stuff. When I spoke to my parents, they said it was my obligation as a big sister to do these things. So they were no help. They were no help? I'd say they're the entire fucking problem. My sister got invited to some fake prom with her boyfriend because prom wasn't going ahead in her school this year. She calls and tells me she needs me to take her dress shopping, that she knows the dress she wants and everything, and that I need to bring $300. I tell her no. She ignores me and tells me that they want to stay at my place after this prom and that I need to give her a key to my place to make it easier. I cut her off and tell her no, none of this is happening. She whines and I tell her whining won't change it. She then tells me it's not fair and I owe her this. I snapped. I told her I am not her parents and I don't owe her a damn thing. That she does not get to make demands of me because I'm older, because this is not some job like our parents always said. And if she can't accept that, then she needs to stop calling me. I'm the asshole in this, according to my parents and sister. Parents read me the riot act, or started to, and I hung up. They're still pissed 5 weeks later. Am I the asshole? The OP is clearly not the asshole. Let's just move on. This next story makes me feel quite uncomfortable, so I'm going to share that feeling with you, my viewers. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that catfishing her own dad is inappropriate? Throw away because I don't want my friend knowing it's me. Yeah, I'm sure if she sees it, she'll just think it's the other person who has this very specific problem. To try and make a long story short, my friend, female 23, and I, female 22, originally were hanging out for coffee in April, and she was telling me about how her dad keeps dating and eventually has a horrible breakup with all the women he meets online. These breakups were usually because the women were gold diggers and he would eventually cut them loose when they wanted too much from him. I've known this for years and have met some of his old girlfriends in passing when we would hang out at his place back when we were in high school. He was always the funny dad and loved to mess around, so we came up with an idea. We thought it would be funny to set up an account on one of the dating sites that he uses, with the info that would intrigue him, find him and then message him. I had brought up the idea. Well, we went through and used fake info, fake profile pic, etc. of an older woman as he is in his 50s. I chuckled and thought it was hilarious as a prank, but she's taken it out of control. He didn't respond that day we hung out, but she sent me screenshots of her conversation with her dad that were originally supposed to be a prank, and they were a bit too raunchy for a prank. I just kind of let it go. We went hiking yesterday, and she had to take a pee, so I held her stuff as she was doing her business. I had her phone and saw that there were multiple notifications from her dad on the same dating site, and the pop-up messages were really inappropriate. I called her out immediately and told her that it's not funny anymore, and she's being really weird with her own dad. She was upset that I called her out and essentially told me that I can do the rest of the hike alone, and she left. I just sat for a while and then decided to turn around because I was too pissed off. As I was heading back down the mountain, she texted me saying that it was my idea the whole time, anyways, to catfish her dad, so I shouldn't be demanding about her following through. I texted her back, "What the fuck is wrong with you to think that what you're doing is a funny prank? You're literally sexting your dad pretending to be a 50-year-old. She told me to fuck off and hasn't texted since. Anyways, am I the asshole for suggesting this in the first place? I thought it would be a funny prank where my friend would reveal that it was her the whole time, like, the next day. But she's still doing this prank 2 months later. Her and her dad live under the same roof. This kind of betrayal could easily damage their relationship irreparably. I don't think the betrayal is going to be his biggest issue. I don't even think it'd cross his mind. Dude is sexting his daughter. At least they won't have to worry about gold diggers. This guy is going to have to spend all his money on therapy just so he can live with himself once he finds out. Seriously, this is the kind of thing men have been known to commit suicide over. Yeah, that's valid enough. Oh, no worries, I'm sure he'll be fine with it. It was just a haha funny prank bro that went on for 2 months. Reddit is calling the OP an asshole too, but not for calling her friend out, for having the idea in the first place. Obviously the friend is worse in this story. Just because her dad likes to joke around doesn't make this normal or okay. Well, let me know what you think about today's stories, but that is about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, once again, let me hear it in the comments. I do read those, at least for the first few days. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of the same, hopefully. Yeah, so my laptop broke and nobody near my town is fixing such things apparently, so I bought this setup. It was really cheap, but I'm hoping I can make acceptable videos on it for a bit. Let me know if this video sucked. But now it's time to shout out my amazing patrons who support me more directly over on Patreon. I apologize about the delay here. Thank you again. Jimmo, Noe Blue, Levon, Maxo11X, Chris Sturman, MDB3000, Bumbus McDunga, Clipper, Amanda Gillies, Bethy Williams, Big Mike Shirley, Cacti Lady Wither, Cho, Daniel Delapenna, Don Smith, Deborah Douglas, Dr. A, Horatio T, Kitty Sparkles, Leanne Summers, Ouroboros, Rob Sop, Sammy, Sandyman, Spoonie the Rogue, V stands for, Wernology, William Ash, Camper Supreme, Psychic Kumquat, Alex Anakin, Alan Fang, Knit1 Code 2, Lil Spoon, Ms. Mayhem, Francois Tremblay, Nick Lucarelli, and Petulant Panda. Thanks for being so patient with me. I had to wait on some equipment to come in and my back's still killing me, but I think I can manage now. I will be back very soon with some new content, including some Lorne Armstrong, who's from To Catch a Predator, but he's kinda similar to Lucas. He actually tried to leverage his TCAP fame into a YouTube channel. It was good fun. Well, have a great day, everyone, and make sure your catfish isn't coming from inside the house. Or the family. Christ.